seriously. 1v1 on Faymonville Approach. This game is going to be Fried Muffins versus Disgruntled Face. Fried Muffins playing as Soviets in the Northwest, gone with Tier 1, opening with a Penal Battalion, so we don't see that all that frequently. He's bringing in Guard, Motor Coordination, Lend, Lease, and Shock Rifle. Disgruntled Face guy is going to go Fortifications, Luftwaffe, and Spec Ops, and he's kind of spreading himself out early on in the game, taking control of the north here, mostly with Volksgrenadiers, sending another squad here towards the center, and Stern Pioneers doing what they can here in the south. Penal Battalion hanging out on the fuel, about to get connected up by these conscripts, and a fresh squad of Penal Battalions is now making its way towards the center, and an M3 is in production. So, pretty standard opening from both players here. Conscripts secure building control while more territories are secured here in the center. Volksgrenadiers in the north are just defending the munitions point for now, and a fourth squad has been fielded to the north as well. Penal Battalion in the south was sufficient to scare off the Stern Pioneers, but no models are lost, so no manpower bleed, and they will be healed up by a battle group headquarters, which is under construction now. Penal Battalion in yellow cover, engaging two squads of Volksgrenadiers on open ground. Looks like Volksgrenadiers will pull ahead, especially with this flank happening, and the Penals will be forced to retreat. There they go. And an M3 has completed, is making its way forward for this engagement. With 4 squads of Volksgrenadiers, though, that may prove to be a little bit too much for that M3 to take on by itself. And Flamethrower actually has not been produced here. He didn't quite have the munitions for it yet. Taking 60 now. And the Flamethrower upgrade is cooking, and the squads will actually retreat on site. Probably a good idea. Flamethrower still has a little time before it completes, however. Meanwhile, here in the south, Penal Battalion is continuing to screen against this Stern Pioneer squad, getting the munitions and victory point under control, and the engagement up here looks like it's going to go in favor of the Soviet player as soon as that Flamethrower completes. As for the Oberkommando West, 65 munitions in the bank, no sign of a Panzerschreck until that ticks up to 90.
Enemy contact! Contact! Our gun crew has been lost.
MG-34 may get stolen here. It's going to be close. Conscript squad, which executed the maneuver, could get gunned down on retreat. There they go. Conscript squad down. Stern Pioneers still in the retreat path of the stolen MG-34, but they're not really chasing here. As it rounds the corner, it looks like it will get away and the Stern Pioneers disengage. So he traded a conscript squad for an MG-34. Definitely a good trade, because even though he lost a full squad, he denies the machine gun to his opponent. I would say that that worked out pretty well for him. It also, of course, gives him access to a machine gun, which he otherwise would not have since he went Tier 1. First squad of Guard rifles is going to hit the field, so he has chosen Guard Motor Coordination. Might see a heavy mortar from him as well in the near future. And as for map control, Soviet player is very strong, holding both fuel points, or at least disconnecting this one, and both munitions points as well, and 2 of the 3 victory points. So in the opening minutes of the game, very strong, although this squad of Penal Battalion probably should keep moving, get some backcapping done. He still needs to take this point, but it looks like rather than doing that, he's going to make his way towards the center and try and maintain control over that area. First Panzerschreck has completed and is entering this building. It fires out the window, shot connects, and the M3 will immediately disengage. He does get out of range just in time. No flame bursts in that engagement inflicted any losses. All these Volksgrenadiers will be fine. However, forcing him into the building for that brief engagement does delay the capture of this fuel even further. Penal Battalion sitting up here in the north needs to heal up a little bit as well. The Guard rifles cover here just upgraded with DP machine guns, so that will make them pretty effective at range. Kind of a medium to long range composition here from the Soviet player, using Penal Battalions, a flamethrower, and DP machine guns. Plus he has an MG-34, so He's actually got kind of a long-range army for a Soviet player. In fact, the best short-range squad on the field is the Sturm Pioneers. Well, or this flamethrower. I guess you could make an argument either way, depending on which way our engine goes. Penal Battalion moving up to take control of this cutoff, and the flamethrower is moving to re-engage here in the north. Sturm Pioneers on this Penal Battalion's flank, inflicting heavy damage. It looks like that was a pretty good retreat, though. Didn't wait too long, and he will get away. Unfortunately, we cannot say the same thing about the M3, which pops like a balloon to that Panzerschreck squad. Flamethrower needs to retreat immediately, and thanks to the smoke screen from the blown-up vehicle, it looks like it will escape. Penal Battalion also gets away clean, but either way, the engagement very much goes in favor of the OKW, and he'll get a little bit of free fuel from M3's wreck. And it looks like we're going to see an attempt at a Tier 4 structure here. But he needs to clear all Soviet infantry out of the area first to be able to set it up safely. And it looks like he should be able to do that. He throws a grenade to force all Soviet infantry off the field a little bit quicker. Meanwhile, our Kettenwerfer is getting a little bit of territory back under control over here. The MG-34 in the house will be able to screen its advance towards the VP, but it should still be able to take the cutoff, as long as it backs up a little bit. However, the Penal Battalion over here actually does cut off all Axis resources in the north, if only briefly, forcing some infantry to reposition down there to deal with them and further delaying the construction of this Tier 4 structure. It's now 9 minutes into the game and has not even started building his next tech. Which means the Soviet player could capitalize on this, getting some tech of his own quite soon. 170 fuel in the bank, can afford a Tier 3 or Tier 4 structure, followed up by 1 unit from that structure. At least sort of soon. For now, it looks like he's going to continue applying pressure to the OKW territory. His only squad of combat engineers is currently tied up in combat. And combat engineers are taking control of the victory point. Penal Battalion taking control of the munitions. The Tier 4 structure is going to go up, and it doesn't look like it's going to get halted or disrupted. I don't think so anyway. There's 3 Volksgrenadier squads in the way of these guards that are making their way forward, and I'm not sure he's even going to get vision. Okay, he certainly will. He just entered the house, and as a result, he can definitely see this going up. No damage inflicted on the structure yet. We do have a grenade going out, counter grenade into the building. Oh, dangerously close to wiping 2 squads with that grenade. Very nice placement. They got a little bit confused trying to path around the fence, but either way, no damage inflicted on the Tier 4 structure, and these guards are going to be forced to make a hasty retreat, almost losing a full squad and dropping a DP machine gun. But she almost loses this squad attempting to recover. He should have known that that was just unrecoverable and cut his losses, unfortunately. Takes a lot of manpower bleed. Almost loses the squad, but not quite. Trying to recover that lost DP. And that's one of the main reasons people don't like guards, because they drop weapons like crazy, and they're not actually very cheap. 75 munitions for that LMG upgrade is pretty pricey. Oh, hi Paradox. How's it going? I should interact with chat more when I do casts. I get too absorbed.
Combat unit ready.
I only really glance at it. Sadly.
Neutralize their movement. Use a high rate of fire. Attention! Prepare for action! Eyes on the approaches and check your line of sight. The battle is about to commence. Full strength. We have secured the target. Standing by for orders. Flamethrower group!
Guards scare away the Raketmorpher here in the south. Both squads, in fact, have been sent down here, and they're going to get this territory under control. And he still has not taken the strategic point right next to his base. 13 minutes in the game is pretty late. To be taking control of those resources. It's a lot. It's a lot of resources.
Supply hub Keta is ready.
5 munitions and 3 fuel per minute. Just 13 minutes to not have that really is a shame. That being said, he is just floating for call-ins from the look of things, so I guess fuel's not really that big of a concern. When you're rushing a T-70, it makes more of a difference than when you're just waiting to get 10 CPs. But the benefits that he's given himself by not capturing that aren't really much. Well, I don't know why he just made that M3, but apparently it drove straight up and died over there. It didn't go quite how he envisioned it, I guess. Penal battalions here in the center not doing too great. In fact, only one loss inflicted on those Volksgrenadiers before being forced to retreat himself. Not sure that could have gone worse. Guard rifle squads are being forced to retreat immediately as this Panzer II is making its way straight into the Soviet base and trying to chew up these penal battalions. There are no conscripts on the field, by the way, which means that there are no AT grenades at all. He has absolutely no way of damaging this thing's engine. So his guards are the only way of deterring it from sealing the game. PTRS is in the house. We'll force the Panzer II away. Penal Battalion's trying to get some territory under control, and we've got 2 squads making their way towards the south to get that under control. 1 Panzerschreck and, of course, the stolen DP machine gun will provide a pretty decent amount of firepower there against counter-harassment, since the Soviet player does not have any vehicles. He doesn't have very powerful counter-harassment potential. Ooh, that heavy mortar just did a ton of damage to that nukes there. Brought it down to half health. It's pretty impressive. Probably gave it a decent amount of veterancy too. Yes, now it doesn't have any kills, but it's halfway to vet 1 from that shot.
We are losing territory.
Penal Battalion finally gets a flame crit down here. There's another one. Winning that engagement. Stolen MG-34 will be forced from the house as it's taking heavy sustained fire from those Obersoldaten and does have to retreat. And this heavy mortar just hasn't done anything, which is one of the risks of purchasing this unit. Sometimes it just doesn't hit anything, because it's really slow rate of fire. When it does hit something, it's devastating, but you do roll the dice a little bit. Satchel charge. His opponent reacted well in time, though. He's obviously hoping that he wasn't going to be watching that side engagement, but he was. People have a tendency to pay a little bit more attention to engagements against flamethrower units because you never know when they're just going to go south. Here's some flame crits. Panzer II is inflicting heavy damage on the infantry here in the center. Fresh guards are being thrown at it, but it does not look like they're winning this engagement. Lux is going to wipe that squad if it doesn't retreat, and they drop 2 weapons on retreat. But fortunately no enemy squads are nearby to recover them, so he should be able to get those back. If he had a spare conscript squad, he might be able to throw it on that instead. Spreading the weapons out between your squads can be beneficial, but he doesn't. All of his eggs are kind of in one basket on these sort of expensive infantry squads. And having one squad of conscripts to merge into your guards to give you cheaper reinforcement costs can definitely be beneficial. They cost 27 to reinforce. There's no penalty for filling your guard squads with conscripts instead of more actual guards, so can be useful. As for map control, OKW is taking control of everything. Romeo, Lux is pronounced like Lux. I'm not sure that's entirely true, but it's not like Lux. It's a very lazy American pronunciation. I'm pretty sure it's more like Lux. It's not like Lux. That would be an equally lazy American pronunciation. It's halfway between the two. Panzer II continues to wreak havoc on various infantry formations over here in the center. Up to Vet 2, which is rather impressive, and a Pack 43 has been constructed here in a pretty vulnerable location, I might add. I'm not sure what I think about that. Against the heavy mortar, it will be pretty vulnerable. Satchel Charge could easily just walk up to that thing and destroy it. I'm not sure if I agree with that placement. I think that's a little bit vulnerable. If you just put it a little further back here in his base, I think it would be a lot easier to defend. And we'll also note that it's not in reinforcement or heal radius of the battlegroup headquarters. Alright, if you say so.
Artillery batteries are armed and ready to fire. Contact the enemy fire!
It's getting pretty aggressive with this thing, considering how low its health is. Pressuring the heavy mortar here to retreat. Will not be able to further bombard this tier 4 structure. And it does retreat, although guards arrived to screen just in time. Probably didn't even have to retreat, he could have just left it there, but he wants to get some healing and reinforcement done on it regardless.
What do you need?
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector. You're not dying, you're not trying. We have a new T-34 standing by.
And there it is, T-3485 call-in finally arrives. He kind of struggled to stall utilizing only guards, but he survived. And it's going to be up to these things to make a dramatic impact. Whether or not he can do so with Pack 43 on the field is the question, plus there are mines protecting. Could prove difficult. I'm not sure that the Soviet player has even seen this. In fact, he just drove straight into its arc of fire, so it's going to be dangerous. If he hits a mine inside of that thing's range, it's pretty much a dead tank. He's immediately splitting them up, sending one north and one south. Which is moving up. Going to try and clear up some various infantry. Crushing their green cover and forcing retreats from the Obersoldaten and Volksgrenadiers alike. Tank in the north is sitting idle while he micros this one here in the south. Two Panzerschreck shots have connected with this thing. Pack 43 is not rotating to face towards it. In fact, it's retreat. The T-34 just retreated from one Panzerschreck squad. And as for OKW player, he's going to have fuel for a Panther very soon. And when he does, it's going to be rather difficult for those T-34s to make anything happen.
Suppressive fire! Indirect fire! Displace!
T-3485 diving on the Panzer II.
In contact with flamethrower team!
Pack 43 is slowly rotating. It takes a huge volley from this blob of infantry on the road, and it's trying to get to safety. Not sure it's going to survive though. Oh, Pack 43 shot missed. Panzerschreck's connected, but the Pack 43 shot missed and the tank gets away just by a hair. Meanwhile, the engagement in the south is not really going very well. For the Soviet player, forced retreat one squad, trying to get some fuel under control with the other. Meanwhile, over here, the Volksgrenadiers are applying pressure to the heavy mortar once again. Panzer II trying to force MG34 out of the central house. T-34 receiving repairs here in the center. Various squads also receiving healings. T-34 moving around to the south to try and get that Panzer II away from the center. Going to do what it can. Heavy mortar got a decent shot off on the Pack 43 here. And we still have no big fuel purchased by the OKW, which makes me think possibly going to see a King Tiger, but he still has to purchase a mechanized regiment headquarters, so it's going to be a little ways before that arrives. That's what it looks like we're going to see. And going for a King Tiger is actually a semi-questionable purchase against guard motor coordination, because Mark vehicle can just be thrown down on the King Tiger and then it's a little bit more vulnerable, whereas if you go with 2 Panthers, you've kind of split up your investment across multiple vehicles, which are still superior to T-34-85s, and you're not left quite as vulnerable when that Mark vehicle is active. But I still think King Tiger could easily seal the game, and as long as you have the safety net of the Pack 43, you don't have to be too worried. So either one probably be fine.
Contact! Flamethrower group!
Heavy mortar is trying to apply pressure to the Pack 43. It's about to decrew it, and if nothing arrives to screen that mortar away, it's probably going to go down. It's going to be rather costly to constantly recrew, because again, it is not in range of the battle group headquarters, and it looks like we are going to see King Tiger. He's purchasing the mechanized regiment headquarters now. Either we're going to see King Tiger or possibly a Stuka, even though Stuka wouldn't be a terribly bad purchase at this point, because he could utilize that to get rid of the heavy mortars, but it would leave him a little bit weak against the T-34-85s without a more mobile way to chase down and kill those things. But at the very least, a Stuka could clear out the heavy mortar and as a result protect Pack 43, which is kind of the cornerstone of his defense. I don't know why it's backwards though. Not sure what why that's backwards. Maybe he's just trying to keep the crew from getting hit by mortars, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of working actually. Panzer II catches some guards here in the center. They do a little light damage with their BTRSs. Backs off. It's already up to 28 kills. The central house is actually about to fall. Meanwhile, an MG34 here in the south is getting pressured out of the house by T-34. This one is still receiving repairs. The heavy mortar's only got 12 kills. Vet 2 though. Not sure where it's bombarding now, but it has managed to decrew this Pack 43. And he's just going to continue blasting it even though it's decrewed to try to damage the actual gun itself. Potentially hurt any new crew members. As for victory points, this game is dead even, 250 to 250. If those T-34s can make something happen against the Pack 43 while it's decrewed by moving up and destroying the gun itself, that would definitely be a big win. But there's 800 manpower worth of float here, so he could definitely throw up a new Pack 43 if he so desired. In the meanwhile, he's just getting some manpower bleed done with his heavy mortar on this blob of Volksgrenadiers. And both of them are playing very passively, neither one really committing to an engagement. Although I guess the Soviet player is the one that would be more likely to do that having a larger reserve of medium tanks. Whereas King Tiger is only just now being produced. Kenworfer in the house gets wiped. Nice play by the flamethrower there. And he'll immediately retreat to get some more repairs done on his T-34 there in the north.
Excellent shot.
Meanwhile, I think we're going to see a second set of T-34s as soon as he's got the manpower for it, but first he's investing a little bit more into repairs since his flamethrower squad just got wiped on retreat. I think it got wiped on retreat by this Kenworfer. I don't know, I kind of missed it, but I'm pretty sure that's what just happened. I don't know what else could have possibly done that. Pack 43 still has not been recrewed, by the way.
Incoming fire!
Engagement happening here in the north. Grenades being exchanged, or grenade and satchel charge. Satchel charge is easily dodged because he was paying attention to the engagement. Various squads will be content to simply take control of the munitions while the south munitions falls to a Volksgrenadier and Obersoldaten squad. I'm actually somewhat surprised that Fried Muffins has not utilized any munitions on demo charges because this is just asking for it. But, you know, whatever. If he would rather spend his munitions on marked vehicle, that's understandable, and demo charges, or satchel charges, I suppose. I don't think I've seen a single satchel charge connect in a meaningful fashion, unfortunately. Ooh, looks like a full squad of Volksgrenadiers just dropped a Panzerschreck over here. Dukes is moving up to screen away the combat engineers that would try to recover it, and Sturm Pioneers will take control instead. Meanwhile, the King Tiger bursts through the hedge and is making its way straight up to try and clear out some Soviet defenses and potentially slug it out with some of these Soviet medium tanks. Infantry up here in the north just wiped another Kenworfer, however, and are forcing retreats from the other various Volksgrenadier squads. Commando West forces are kind of spread thin, and as a result he's losing full squads in various locations on the map. Soviet player doing a good job of rounding them up. And there's the second set of T-34s. 4 T-34s is more than enough to take on a King Tiger, especially with marked vehicle active, and if this Pack 43 does not get recrewed, it will stand no chance against them, especially since all of the various anti-tank weapons are getting cleared off the field. 2 Kenworfers that I've seen, plus a Panzerschreck squad that got wiped. The Soviet player is definitely poised to win this game. But it's going to come down to how the climactic engagement goes. And it also comes down to the crewing of that Pack 43. King Tiger gets a huge hit on the heavy mortar. Potentially going to get wiped. There it goes. The weapon itself is destroyed and cannot be recrewed. The Soviet player is going in hard. There's a shoe mine on this King Tiger's retreat path. You could see... Oh no! The T-34s actually detonated the shoe mine. They don't hit it. Instead, the King Tiger is what receives the engine damage, and it has had its engine destroyed. The Pack 43 has been recrewed during the course of this engagement, and only 3 of the 4 T-34s are present for this. The 4th one is somewhere else, I guess. I don't know where it is. Going in with just 3 is going to be dangerous. This one just got abandoned. The Pack 43 fortunately got no shots off and was destroyed. The King Tiger has been flanked. 1 T-34 remains behind it. He's trying to get it to safety, taking a bit of a risk here. His shot does not penetrate, and the King Tiger will survive. 3 T-34s down. Where was the 4th one? Did it just explode somewhere that I didn't see? Did a plane kill it? I don't know. But that is the game, apparently. Fried Muffins loses. The King Tiger survives by a hair. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there they are. So there were all 4 of them did show up. I just couldn't count. It was too hectic. Couldn't keep track of the engagement. No, the plane didn't kill it. Plane didn't kill it. That definitely could have gone to the Soviet player, but it just didn't work out. I think the Raketenwerfer must have gotten a bunch of shots off. I don't know. Maybe you can go back to the YouTube video and watch it in slow motion or something. That was a huge battle. Can't believe that King Tiger survived. Close one, honestly. I'm not even sure the game was over. He could have like run up and thrown a satchel charge on this thing and probably killed it. Oh well. GG. Axis wins.